Shalom, Yashala, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh. I do so in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Yasha Allah. Call Haloyam La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. Bahasham Harakal Kodash. For blessing our elders with the spirit of truth so that we may know. Shout out to the Akim and the Aquathas, keeping the faith in the works. Y'all keep at it. It's your brother Abaya coming at you with more precepts. It's the book of 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 5. It says, and beside this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue, right? And to virtue knowledge, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity, right? The main focus I want is, and besides this, giving all diligence, add to your faith virtue. Add to your faith virtue, right? Because it's so many individuals on this earth, you know, especially individuals that claim to be Christians that say they got all the faith in the world, that the Lord loves them, that they love the Lord, and, you know, the Lord they know their heart, and so forth and so on. But your faith is not being shown in this world. Your faith is not being shown really anywhere outside of you just talking. All right? And let's see. Let's go to the blue letter and look up that phrase, virtue. All right.
Strong's G703, arete.
All right, arete. It says a virtuous course of thought, feeling, and action. Right? Virtue, moral goodness. Any particular moral excellence as modesty, purity. Right? In the Strong's, it says from the same as G730, properly, manliness, valor. Right? So you can have faith, but if you don't have moral excellence to back up that faith, who's to say you have the faith? It's just like you know how Paul was saying, you know, you may say you have faith, but show me your faith and I'll show you my works. Right? I show you my faith by how I live my life. It's not just by me saying I have faith, it's me literally displaying the faith that I have. Right? Abstaining from certain things, giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, having a knowledge of the Lord, right? Because to know the Lord is virtuous in itself, right? And notice in the Strong's it said the same as manliness or valor, right? Same as manliness and valor. All right, so let me go back to this precept. In 2 Peter chapter 1 and verse 5, again, it says, and beside this, giving all diligence to add to your faith virtue, and to your virtue knowledge. All right, because you have an understanding of why you're acting how you're acting. Just like we have an understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. Christians, you know, Babylonian Christians, they don't understand why we say, you know, you still got to keep the laws. And we're not telling you that your salvation is based off of how well you keep the laws, but you keep the laws to show your faith. You keep the laws to show your virtue, right? It's a purpose for you know, maintaining the word to the best of your ability. We understand you can't keep those laws, especially in this world that we're living in, especially in this flesh that we have. You can't do it, all right? And then scripture says all have sinned. It don't say some, it says all. Right? 2 Peter 1 and 6, and to knowledge temperance, right? In the NLT it says, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with patient endurance, right? with patient endurance. And we looked up over the the past outing that we had the definition of the term patience and the definition of the term endurance, which is basically the same thing, right? Suffering is all it is. It's just suffering, but you're suffering for a purpose, right? And you have control in that suffering. Scripture tells us, be ye angry, but sin not, right? So to have anger about a situation is wisdom, right? Scripture tells us, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, right? But you don't act on that patience, right, unvirtuously. You act on that patience in virtue, right? You don't bring sin upon yourself in that anger that you may have, right? Salak. It says, and to knowledge temperance, and to temperance patience, and to patience godliness, and to godliness brotherly kindness, and to brotherly kindness charity. Charity means love, right? In the NLT it reads, in godliness with brotherly affection, and brotherly affection with love for everyone. And we understand that everyone is speaking about Yasharallah, right? We got to show love to Yasharallah. And really, according to the scriptures, how the scripture tells us what love is, we really do show love to the whole world. Scripture tells us, if at all possible, live peaceably among all men. That's us showing the world, love according to the word, because according to the word, love is keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Lord. It's keeping the Lord's word, right? So if we're doing, if we're behaving how the Lord tells us to behave, Scripture tells us this would be our wisdom in the sight of the nations. So that's us showing the nations love. You dig? But yeah, and the reason why I'm bringing this particular topic out is because it kind of rubbed me the wrong way that I spoke patience as a virtue in the Bible. And when I went to search, and I want to say I searched this out when I first came into the truth, because when I first came into the truth, I started researching different sayings that were said in the church to find out what was false and what wasn't. But it's been so long since I've gone into the topic, it just it just came out. But the spirit corrects, and with no offense, we just gonna make corrections on statement, because scripture tells us you're gonna be held accountable for every word that you speak. So we want to speak correctly, right? So to be honest with you, yes, patience is a virtue, right? Patience is a form of moral excellence, right? But is it literally worded in the scriptures that patience is a virtue? No, it's not worded, but it definitely is. And so we must maintain patience, right? And, scripture tells us, he that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved. He that has patience unto the end, the same shall be saved. So with that, man, how about Shemal Sharatazah? These precepts in this video were edifying. Call Haloyam La Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Harakak Wadash, Shalom Yasharallah.